Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is the Magical Mischief Tour, Episode 3. I have plenty of stuff going on, and I'm going to try to stick a little bit closer to the list today. I got so long that I started making a couple of them, and I didn't even get through the 3 things I had last time. So let's get into some of this, shall we? To start with, we've got a stone cutting table. So why do I need that? Because it actually will convert a lot of different blocks in this mod pack. I find that to be really useful for decoration purposes at the very least. So we now have that set, and that is done. We've got a kiln and botany pots. For that, we're going to need clay, which I've got a bunch of clay here and a bunch of clay here, and we're just going to smelt them all up and turn them into bricks and blocks. Now, while those are smelting, because I'm going to be using those to make botany pots and a kiln, I'm going to need a backpack upgrade. Because my existing sack, while it's nice with 9 slots, is not the best. Put them up here and make a travel pack. Now, on first inspection, it's got less space, but it does have a spot for a backpack. And if you want, you can actually make one of these little ones. It's bedroll from Druidcraft, and you just put it in this spot, and then you just click it, and you'll instantly lay down and go to sleep if appropriate. But I plan on upgrading this even further, because if you look at the uses, you can take some kind of leather, gold, some black backpack tanks, and a sleeping bag, and you can make yourself a traveler's backpack, which is pretty darn useful because it's got a lot more space in it. A sleeping bag, 2 backpack tanks, 4 leather, and some gold should do the trick. Now, if you're doing any of these updates yourself with different packs, you're going to want to make sure that your packs are all empty before you do this, because any contents that are in them, whether it be a sack or the travel pack, the contents will get deleted. So yeah, you're not going to want to mess around with that. So there we go. I now have a traveler's backpack. Huge storage, and this isn't even the biggest pack we can make. We can make something bigger than this. But for now, I think this is going to be quite, well, effective. So next thing I'm going to make is going to be some mud balls. And I'm going to smelt them up in a furnace, because that's part of the whole kiln process. I'll come back to smoking up some clay balls here shortly. Now you can put the backpack on, so you can click here to put it on. It now no longer takes up any inventory space, and I believe it's bound to the letter B on the default setup. And you can then click here to take it back off, and it's in your hand again. And yes, this has its own built-in crafting table. Now the biggest advantage to the backpack is that you can actually store liquids in here if you want. Yes, you can even store lava, and you can take it back out again. It is pretty darn cool like that. It even has like a hose nozzle you can put on there if you really want to go crazy. But for now, I think I'm just going to make myself some more of that mud. So if I take these ingredients, I can now make a kiln, which should be useful for smelting clay blocks a little bit quicker and easier, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there we go. The backpack upgrade is complete. Piggy Banks. Oh, this is cool. So let's grab a bunch of iron, coal. Oh boy. I'll even take what's left of my gold, which isn't very much, and the nuggets for each one. And if you look up Piggy in JEI, you'll find that there are these little piggy banks. Now these are basically investments. So a coal one requires a bunch of bricks and a block of coal. Iron, of course, requires a block of iron, and so on. So with these, if I were to make each of these different piggy banks, I can then put them in this little area that I've got up here, because, well, one, they're pretty darn cute. Probably be a good idea for me to keep them out in an area that I'm going to be using more frequently, but I just like having them up here. Now, if I put things in here, let's put in 40 coal, it then can convert them automatically into blocks if I want, and over time, they'll gain interest, which means that we'll gain more of them. Actually, while I'm in here, I took one of those silkworm eggs and I just clicked it down here on the ground above this this hopper, and it gave me a silk cocoon in time. If you click on the hopper, you'll see that there's a bunch of them in here. And I can take these and I can actually use them. There it is, the spindle. So using a spindle with silk cocoons, you then get silk thread, which in some cases will actually straight up replace string in a 1-to-1 ratio. In other cases, you need to actually turn it into string. So it's not worth converting it to string in its entirety. You'll want to keep a bunch of it, but I am going to convert some of it for now. we've pretty much completed the first one except for botany pots. That will take a bit of time for me to do, but Athena sculpture. This was on my to-do list from previous episodes, and yeah, I didn't actually get to it at all. It's a simple enough thing to do and really cool. I will, however, need a little bit of marble, and it needs to be specific marble. Greek fantasy, that's what I'm looking for. The Greek fantasy marble. Now, if you don't have that, let's say you've got this cork marble here. There's a stone cutter. You can put it in here, and you can convert it to the different types if you so desire. So you could convert it all to the Greek fantasy marble or the astral sorcery marble. But anyway, let's make a marble statue. There we go. And because I want to have an altar to Athena, because I think she's really cool for as far as mythical Greek goddesses go, I just need a marble statue with a book. So let's actually put her right there. There we go. Athena. Nice. And you can click on here and you can see the favor you currently have. 35 out of 110 for level 0. You can see how you are ranking with all the rest of the gods in here. Basically, farther to the left you go, the higher the favor you have, and it sorts them by your favor. So if you particularly want to impress Persephone, her being all the way on the right side is not necessarily a good thing. Each one will give you different benefits, like passive bonuses and such like that. Athena will give you experience bonuses, which I'm definitely in appreciation of that. Then you've got some others that give you like combat bonuses. Some of them will give you specific gifts or even auto smelt, so you got to be careful about those ones if you don't want those kinds of effects. But you can always sacrifice things, basically specific creatures, or you can offer items, and you can just scroll down through the list here to see the different items that you can do to increase your standing with that god. And of course, if you go with the hostiles, if you kill things like baby spiders, Athena won't be happy. And in this case, I have a bunch of golden apples. So let's take a look. She has a favor of 35 out of 110. Now, the favor will drop over time. But if I click one in there, I donated it to her, and it increased by 10, as you can see here, golden apple plus 10. Okay, I now have all the bricks and terracotta that I wanted, so I'm going to need to start using that to make a whole bunch of pots. Specifically, let's take out a couple so that I can get 16. Okay, maybe 16 was a bit much, but I am going to make at least 12 here, because I will need some more clay. But I've got 12 botany pots. Now, by themselves, botany pots are just more decorative than anything else, and they can be useful. I'm going to put these extras in here because I will be doing some more. Actually, 4 more. That won't get me enough for another botany pot. But if I take botany pot, combine it with a hopper, then I can make one that will automatically harvest crops, provided that it has soil and the proper crop in there. And it can increase its speed depending upon the soil that you're also using. So let me get a bunch of these made up, set down, and then I will show you what I've got in mind. So to start with, I'm just going to be using some regular old-fashioned dirt in this case. And I've got a few different crops. I've got potatoes, beetroots, some hemp from Druidcraft because I like it for making the different ropes and stuff. So not everything will actually fit in these. Some of them will require different types of soil. Others might just straight up be incompatible. Aubergine it is. Alright, so as you can see, everything starts growing, eventually starts popping. When it does that, it has a chance of having its harvest go into the chest below. Now it will pop and replant itself effectively, but so as you can see, the potato had a good harvest and has a couple extra. Plus it was the first thing that was done. Hemp seeds, yep, those have grown up and done pretty well. Now if you change out the soil in these to something a little bit better, now in this case I'm not too impressed with the rice, I am going to need a bunch of that stuff, but if you change out the soil, you can potentially have this speed up a lot more. But at the very same time, just having it in these single spots is pretty darn cool, especially since they're automatically harvesting themselves. I don't have to go into a technical mod like Create or anything to actually automatically harvest them. They're doing it by themselves. If I were to increase the speed at which this stuff harvests, I can easily do so by making some compost. Now this stuff in itself is not good to be putting in there. It's stage 1. If you hit U while holding over it, you can see that in time, given some sun and water on multiple sides, it will speed it up, as well as possible different activators like mushrooms. It will speed it up into rich soil. Then you can harvest the rich soil, and use that. Of course, rich soil being next to organic compost also speeds up other organic compost to turn into rich soil as well. First, we need to make organic compost, which is going to be some straw, rotten flesh, dirt, and bone meal. Or tree bark if I don't have much for some of the rotten flesh. But first, you'll notice straw is in both recipes. How do I obtain that? The simplest way is to harvest grassy plants and crops with a knife to obtain straw. Or take a cutting board to something like rice panicles, then you'll get rice and straw from the result. As I'm a bit shy on iron right now, I'm going to be making a flint knife. Thankfully, a cutting board is much cheaper. There we go, one cutting board, which I'm just going to put here for now. Then I can have my flint knife, and if I grab my rice panicles here, trade hands, and we just start chopping stuff. I'm just holding right click right now, and basically I'm chopping this to get all the different rice from it, which gave me 20. I did also get 20 straw, which is going to be really good for me starting to make some compost. And if you find yourself lacking on rotten flesh, like I might be as well, tree bark can be made by simply taking some kind of chopping implement like an axe with some kind of log on a cutting board, and you'll get a stripped log version plus tree bark. It's actually quite satisfying to do that. Now again, if you don't have bones, you can use the cutting board again with any number of different meat products, chopping them up, getting yourself some kind of slices and whatnot, mixed with some bone meal. There we go, I now have 10 organic compost. And put down a bunch of organic compost. Now some of it is not entirely available to the sky, so it might have some problems, you know, working faster. But having water on most of the sides of most of these should help speed it up a little bit. If I had some mushrooms to plant on these, I would probably try and do that as well in hopes of speeding it up. But honestly, I'm just going to leave it like this for now, and we'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to get a snooze and make it less rainy right now. And that pretty much gets us caught up with the botany pots for now, because if we check on the status of these things, you can see I even have poison potatoes coming in. I've got beetroots and beetroot seeds, wheat. Remember, any of the seeds I can also turn into a food as well, so there's plenty of things that I could potentially use at this point. Rice pinnacles for any number of things, cabbage, and so on, which I still plan on planting more stuff, and those things that don't work in the hopper botany pots, I'll probably put on a separate farm and set up a create contraption at some point in the future for those. But let's get back to the list. Saddling a drake. Okay, let's make a saddle here. Next, I need to find myself a mount. Now, in previous episodes, I was saying, oh boy, I'll be able to make this guy my mount as soon as I start to, and I totally forgot. Wrong mod, unicorn. This guy here, you could try putting a saddle on him. Nothing happens. You can try it, it won't work. You need to have a Greek fantasy golden bridle, which requires some blaze powder and a lead and gold, and yeah, I don't have blaze powder yet. So we're gonna just go with alternate mounts for now. In fact, I'm going to be looking for those Overworld drakes. Let me go see if I can find where they're at. Oh shoot, there's our neighbor. I need to give her a wide berth. There's some drakes right now. Having multiples of them together is not a good thing because they will attack in groups. Maybe I can convince one of them to come out into the water. That's probably the safest place that I've been able to tempt one of these to come out and get tamed. So yeah, so that roar right there gives you a slowness effect, which makes it difficult to get away. Alternately, you just lure them into the water. Excuse me, I'm kind of like pooing my pants with the scaredness I am right now. Let's try. No, don't do that. Don't try hitting me. That's bad. Then you come up underneath and you grab on and you hope that you don't get flung too far. Then you just try it over and over again. In the water is probably the safest spot, assuming, whoa, you're not too close to like any heavy water. Ow! And you can see right there, kind of hurt. I'm gonna eat something a little bit more saturating right now. Come on. Hey, we got it. Alright, so if I go over near these other drakes, they're also going to be equally upset. And I don't think I can take this saddle off from this drake. It is very slow to cross water, but as you notice, I'm crossing water nonetheless. It is a little bit tedious, but at least I don't need to worry about my mount, if it's a horse, kind of sinking, not making it. So I just need to try and find ways of getting up on this side for now. There we go, and as you can see, if you go into F5 view, you get a pretty good view above and around your mount. Even forward view is pretty good. I do like it. And look, there's a sheep. Now let's take care of this sheep. And actually, I got off my mount for a moment to throw out some seeds because I accidentally pressed sneak, and yeah, it attacked the sheep that I injured nearby. So to give an example, it will now protect me. It's going to ignore the sheep until I hit the sheep, and then it's just going to straight up kill it. Now, if I go over and I've set my controls on here, I will show you. I actually changed my key mount key 1 to left button on my mouse for worm roost controls. And when I get close to the sheep, it will then do an attack with its horn and instantly kill things. It is pretty darn effective. And I love the squeak sounds. And then just like a pupper, if I sneak right click, your mount will stay there. And there you go. They're really cool. There's a male and a female variant. I can't remember which one has what markings, but one of them has these blue stripes, the other one has like dark green stripes. So that's one way of telling them apart. Alright, next we're going to be making a blood extractor. Why? Because I'm going to be murdering things in the not too distant future, which requires an iron ingot and a dark gem. Alright, I've now got a bunch of spikes, which can be used to make blood extractors. These will basically harvest blood of any creatures that you slay along the path. And then you can use that blood later on to make even better stuff. Alright, there we go. I can make 5 of them straight off. And you can actually take these and combine them to make one that will carry even more. So each one of these carries 5 buckets of blood. Combining them, you'll make one that carries 20. Then you take that last one, and you've got 25. So I have 25 buckets of blood that I can store in this from anything that I kill. Not necessarily my mount, which, by the way, when they sleep at nighttime. Look at this. Such a good pupper. Okay, going to sleep. Don't want to sleep them. Let's move on to the next thing, because we're getting closer to a little bit more of adventure here. The bounty board. Oh. That's going to be a bit of a problem for me, because if you look up bounty boards here on the left, it requires 1 diamond. And I did not, in all of my explorations, get any kind of diamonds in my searchings. So we're going to have to go do some battling. And I don't think I need to go very far. I mean, I'm just going to go hop down the side of the mountain here. Aha! Here we are. And I think if I switch this one here, let's grab that potion of weakness. While I'm at it, I might as well do this. There we go. And I can put one of these down on the other side. We get ourselves a cleric. And then we can get your signature. So let me take out my Akashic Tome here. I can turn this into my Ars Ecclesia again. Toss it to you. And then get your signature, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. And if you're curious why I'm getting this book signed and everything, it's because we're getting the Wicked Sign and the Sacred Sign. We now have 2 extra signs for our book for Eidolon, which I do plan to get into. And there we go. Mission complete. Alright, and here we are back in the caves, and you can see we've got a really big hulking zombie here. But he doesn't seem to be attacking. In fact, he's kind of snuggling me. Hello, how you doing, buddy? He's part of Mana and Artifice. He's one of the different factions that will only attack you if you're in an opposing faction. So he doesn't really care that you're running around, unless you hit him first, of course. So He's the same as like little mushroom warriors you might see, or that witch hunter in the trench coat, or things of that nature. You might see a few others as well. But he's relatively neutral, and I don't mind him running around right now. But I am back in the mines, and it's not just for a bit of iron, though that is rather important to me nonetheless. I am down here to see if I can find a way down all the way to the bottom to get myself some diamonds. Because when last I left off, I'd pretty much, well, mined out a whole lot of stuffs around here. And I'm looking to continue that trend, but hopefully with something more valuable. And I need to go really deep for that. Yep, I've kind of found a spookier area, to say the least. Come here, you. I got some swipes for you, too. That's right, bleeding damage as well. Alright, so here we are down in the depths. There's bound to be some trouble down here. Hopefully it's not too overpowering, and I'm able to make it through. Oh gosh, there's more of them. They're just having a big old convention, aren't they? Oh! Stop! Wow, did it just grab me? So rude. So I found out that my greatsword, it does half damage at a longer range, and full damage at closer range, which is why it was taking a lot more hits to try and, you know, kill critters and stuff. But hey, you know, time to get mining a bit, without destroying my torches, hopefully, and I'll let you know if I find anything of any interest, or specifically any danger. And it would appear I have found the diamonds I'm looking for. This was actually completely unplanned. This is very nice, though. I was hoping to find some. And I don't have the spectacular pick that I would hope to have when I first find my diamonds, but at least I have a few, and I can start making one, if not more, bounty boards. While I'm here, though, I might grab a bit of amethyst ore, which is a very rare and very valuable material, and grab a few other materials that are down here that I'm sure will benefit me in the long run. Like redstone. Heck, I don't even think that I've had any redstone as of yet, so that's kind of important too. Gosh, okay, that just scared the heck out of me. I was not expecting you to just pop out of a redstone block, you little... Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, now that you're here, Mr. Goblin Trader, what do you have to offer? 1 iron to get 2 iron ingots? Okay, I'll do that. That's done. Is there anything else? I do have another one. Hey, come back. Usually you guys are very pushy, but you just took off on me here. Come back. Let's do this trade again. I like that. Any more? No? I can at least get more gold. I'll take that too. I don't have enough cobble. I have 4 cobble. And I can get emeralds. I have no apples. Clay to double terracotta? Oh my gosh. Why didn't you visit me at the base? Alright, well, thanks, dude. Appreciate that. Just don't scare the heck out of me like that next time. And as luck would have it, on the other side of this pillar, I found some more diamonds. And of course more iron. My inventory is getting pretty packed with the amount of stuff that I'm finding at these very deep depths. And speaking of deep depths, you gotta be careful. Because when you're underwater down here, your breath gauge will drop very quickly the deeper you are, especially if you're down here at like bedrock level, and it'll go pretty darn quick at some point. So you just gotta really be cautious about that unless you're wearing some kind of diving gear. Alright, so I found a monster box from Quark, which obviously will spawn in a bunch, well, maybe not obviously for some. If you see one of these that's not your typical spawner, when you get close enough, it will launch a spawner attack. Basically, a whole bunch of mobs will pop out at once, and then it will be gone. And each of those mobs drops better loot than they usually do. So, since I've got my Platinum Greatsword here, I don't have any kind of poison immunity, and that's usually something that pops out of here is something that throws poison or poisons you. But we'll see how we do. Alright, well, not too bad. Just the one poisoning critter, so that was pretty good. And look, I got a whole bunch of loot already. I even have some skulls and hearts. Oh boy, I got a whole lot of good stuff there. And look, there's one of those little cork guys here. You can sneak up with them. You can try to trade with them and stuff. Let's see if I hold one of these. Ah, yeah, I thought you'd be interested in that. You've got 4 hearts. If I switch to my axe, I can then... Yep, just take your stuff. If I was smart, I probably would have done something different, but oh well. We'll see how it goes in the future for these guys. Hello. Oh, this is what I was hoping I would find. Look at all those spawners. This is a beautiful room indeed. Okay, I am definitely going to be marking this because if anything, look at the amount of blood I've got. 9487, right? Well, let's get a bit more. And yeah, just like that, I got about 5 buckets of blood. That's pretty darn good. And look at all those drops. Okay, I'm gonna have to arrange something for this. Okay, look at all this. This is ridiculous. This is just the leftover stuff. Okay, let's throw some of these down just so I can pick up random healing potions. Okay, now to get sorted through all these loot items. Okay, I think I'm good. And yep, look at that. My blood extractor is completely full in no time. So I think making a quick way down is going to make getting into Evilcraft very easy. So I think what I'm going to do is pretty much call it here. So next time we're going to be getting into a bunch of magic. I'm thinking we get a little bit of Eidolon, we get a bunch of Evilcraft, and then we start working our way into some mana and artifice. What do you say? So if you guys have been enjoying this series, please be sure to give a like, comment, subscribe, spread the mischief to others, and don't be afraid to click that notification bell. Until next time, folks, I'll see you.